I would say the biggest misconception people have is the same thing my original partner had initially, was think they're going to make a bunch of money instantly and not have to work. I've never worked harder in my life.
Hey there, welcome back to Above and Beyond, where excellence meets elevation. I'm your host, Jan Simon, and this season we're raising the bar, diving into the passion, purpose, and defining moments of leaders who don't just aim high, they live there. Big ideas, real stories. Let's get into it. On today's episode of Above and Beyond, where excellence meets elevation, we sit down with a man who's turned disaster into opportunity. Nathan Thue is the founder of Arizona Total Home Restoration, an IICRC certified firm restoring homes after water, fire, mold, and asbestos damage. Since 2014, Nathan's built his business on honesty, integrity, and craftsmanship that speaks for itself. Beyond the job site, he's giving back, serving on the board for Rebuilding Together Valley of the Sun, and as part of the Gilbert Leadership Class 34. Nathan's story is one of determination, service, and building more than homes. He's rebuilding trust and community across Arizona. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Nathan Thue.
Thank you, Jan. Appreciate you having me.
Tell me about your family. I'm assuming you have a family.
I do.
You're an old guy.
I
so.
am very old. Almost starting to catch up to you a little.
Yeah. I'm running fast.
I got married 2 years ago. My wife's name is Stacy, and we have between us have 4 kids.
Nice.
I have a just turned 16 and a 21-year-old. She turned 21 on Saturday.
Nice.
And then she has an 18 and a 25-year-old.
Sweet. So you got a drinking buddy now.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
We went out to, we call it doggy brunch, just right down the street.
There you go.
We walked the dogs up there on the Saturdays, and she finally got to partake.
Nice. Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Are you guys live close down here in the district?
Yeah, we're right off of McQueen and Guadalupe.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Ocotillo Golf Course.
Very cool. I've driven by Ocotillo so many times. I haven't played there for, it's got to be going on 20 years since I played over there.
So you played when it was really nice.
Yeah. And I keep telling myself, I need to go back and play again. I just remember, no, it's not a nice course anymore.
They're getting it better. They're getting it better.
Good.
It was, had issues for a while, and then it sold out, and it's starting to get a little bit better now.
Yeah. It's kind of like Greenfield Lakes. They just sold out to Top Tracer, I think, which is the owner of Top Golf. Mm-hmm. And they've done a lot of upgrades, started to get the greens back in shape. You know, there's a lot of fungus and stuff growing. And
that, and it's like golfing on concrete.
Well, yeah, exactly.
It's been probably 20 years since I played there. But
Yeah,
last time I was there.
Oh, yeah. It's bad. Now it's kind of overwatered like most courses around here.
Yep.
But got to keep the grass green. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up here. I'm actually from Hawaii originally.
Oh, okay.
On the Hilo side of the island, the big island that rains constantly.
Nice.
And let's see, I think I was 5 when we came to Arizona.
Went from wet and humid and water.
From one extreme to the next.
Yeah, to the desert.
Yeah, my mom got tired of the rain consistently.
Okay.
Her mom lived here, so they made the move. And
Nice.
My dad wanted to go to school, and they didn't have many good schools out in Hawaii at that time for any trades or anything like that. So he went and got an associate's degree and worked for Motorola for a long time after he got moved out.
Okay, very cool. So where'd you go to high school?
4 of them.
Oh, really?
So I went to...
Your parents were running from the IRS?
That was all me.
Oh, okay.
Had a hard time staying still, let's put it that way. And
did you get in trouble?
got in a lot of trouble when I was younger.
Nice. There's some stories we got to dig into there.
There is quite a few. But went to Chandler High, and then got asked to leave there and went to Chandler Gilbert Alternative, and then got kicked out of my house and sent to a boarding school in Kansas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was fun. The guy to try to sell me to get me excited to go tried to tell me that they just opened their first Walmart.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, yay.
Yay. That sounds like this is funny, this is stupid funny, but we'll go back to your school thing, but my ex-wife, so I grew up in a really small town in northeastern Washington, and we get to my town, and there's like nothing there. It's like McDonald's is the only chain restaurant in the whole town. Now there's a Walmart and stuff. But she's like, as soon as this place gets a Subway, then it will become a town. Yeah. They did get a Subway. I don't know if it's still there, but they had a Subway for a little while.
This is Atchison, Kansas. That's where they filmed the Dorothy.
Okay,
and,
yeah. I've actually been through there.
Oh, have you?
I've driven through there, yeah. I literally was heading up to, I think, Minnesota, and I drove through there. So
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was at Moore Hill Prep School. My mom grew up there. That's how they knew about it. And some other family members and stuff had some ties with the school. But after about 3 months, I was then asked to leave there. Came back home and went to Sun Valley Alternative.
You were a pain in the ass.
I got bored easy.
Did you ever get diagnosed for that?
Well, I've diagnosed myself. Got
Yeah.
the good old ADHD thing going on these days, especially in the adult age.
Yeah.
It didn't hit me too much when I was younger, but in the last 2 years, it's come on pretty strong. So it's interesting learning how to navigate.
So you jumped all around for school. Was there anybody when you were going to high school that finally got a hold of you and kind of calmed you down? Or I mean, and I don't mean calmed you down from a activity perspective, but kind of maybe took you by the collar and shook you and said, "Hey, straighten up. You're gonna."
Well, I never got in trouble for anything really, really bad. But the right before I turned 18, I went to court, and the judge held a file off the desk about a foot and then dropped it, and it made this loud echo through the entire courtroom. And he just starts flipping pages, looking at me, looking back down, and just keeps going for solid 5-10 minutes. And then finally he shuts the book, looks at me, and he's like, "You realize I've seen you in my courtroom at least every 3 or 4 months since you were 12 years old?"
No kidding.
And I was like, "Unfortunately, yes." And he's like, "I ever see you in my courtroom again, I'm going to throw the book at you and give you the maximum offense for whatever it is you're in my courtroom for."
Wow.
I pretty much straightened up after that.
Yeah.
Moved to San Diego pretty shortly after.
Okay. Did you go in the military or just move to San Diego?
No, I had an opportunity to move with a job that I was doing at the time.
Okay. Got through high school. Barely, we'll say. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you were a good student. You just couldn't.
I actually dropped out with a 3.5 GPA and
no
2 credits left to graduate. Yeah, I wasn't the smartest apple on the tree, but did that for work purposes to start making money and that kind of thing. And I was having some issues with some of my teachers at the time. But Mom asked me to get my GED to, I think it was her birthday or something. That's what she asked. So I went and got that and tested pretty high for it.
Nice.
And just school wasn't my thing, even though I enjoyed it and I love learning now. But at the time, being so young, it was...
I think I was probably similar. I mean, it's interesting because I think self-diagnosed ADHD, probably some form of dyslexia in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. I was really crappy reader and still am. I mean, I've figured out ways to get around it, but I just, I've never, and it's not like anyways. So I think I was in sports, but my dad was a teacher and a coach. So there was no option
not to.
Yeah. It's I was finishing. And then I went to college because that's what I thought I was supposed to do, But looking back now, I think, I really truly believe we, as a society, probably as a nation, have pushed so hard on the educational aspect of things. Probably more because it's a money-making machine than the educational aspect of it.
Yeah.
Looking back now, and I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day that I love working with wood and I love building things with my hands and I love being able to see the end of it. And I think had somebody introduced me to a trade when I was coming out of high school and said, "Yeah, you can make a living doing this," I probably would have just gone that direction.
Yeah, I struggle now because we have 2 kids recently out of high school. My daughter actually got a full ride to NAU but chose not to go at the time, and now she's wanting to go back at 21. But and then I have the 16-year-old coming up, and the 18-year-old that just graduated. So I've been toying with the idea of, do I push them? Do I push college? Because half of me thinks if you don't go to college and you just go to learn a trade or whatever you're interested in your life, and you spend the 4 years doing that, now you're gaining the experience, you're gaining everything else, you're working up quickly. Where the other half of me is like, yeah, okay, you go to college, you can get a degree, and if you choose the right thing, you can jump out making $100,000 a year.
Oh, absolutely.
Depends on if you have a $50,000 or a $200,000 in debt at that time, whether it's worth it or not.
Right.
Who knows? But then I look at the statistics, and I'm guessing here, but I want to say I think it's like over 90% or something like that. People graduate college and don't actually use the degree.
Oh, I would guess you're probably right on in that. I mean, and I don't know. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But I know I don't. I have a 4-year degree, and 3 months after I graduated college, I got a job in insurance, and I've been in insurance ever since. Right?
Yeah.
And getting the job in insurance, there was a requirement you had to have a 4-year degree. But you didn't have to have a 4-year degree in insurance. You just had to have a 4-year degree. They just wanted to see that you were able to start and finish something, right? And I feel like I love the thought of saying, okay, we're going to get these kids through primary school or whatever, elementary, junior high, high school, and then allow them a couple of years to figure it out.
I agree.
Because, and unfortunately, you're going to have those kids that have babies and do those things right away. I mean, I was always, okay, what's next, right? Had kids young. My daughter just turned 30, and I was 25 when she was born, or almost 25. But it's one of those things where I look back now and I think, I still have no clue what I want to do when I grow up, right? Mm-hmm. But I've never been able to explore that opportunity. And I feel like we need to be better at helping kids see the opportunity that lies in front of them.
True.
And help them kind of explore that and be okay with it and not be, oh no, you graduate high school, now you got to go to college. And the other thing I think, and I'm espousing my beliefs here, but I feel like we need to get rid of having to take high school again the first 2 years of college, which is really what I say it is. I mean,
that's what it feels like.
It's absolutely 101, 102, 103. It's all basic English again. I just did 4 years of high school.
Still not
English.
learning the fun stuff.
Exactly. It's like, help me get into, whatever. My stepson he's a software engineer, very specific. He just landed a job, really good job. He would, whether or not he'd be able to get that job without having a software engineering degree, I don't know. But, that's the thing. My son went to school for flight, and he's working on trying to get his hours to become a pilot. And I feel like those things are very specific, very niche, and you have to have that training to be able to do it.
100%. Yeah,
right?
There are definitely certain, like you want to be a lawyer, a doctor.
Right, exactly.
There are things that you have to go to college for.
But to be in insurance, can you read? Do you have a logical thought process? Probably I would assume the same in restoration.
So, it's funny, something you said, triggered memory. I used to sell vacuums door to door, which I'm sure we'll get to soon.
Oh, nice.
But I sold this lady, and she was the director for a pharmaceutical sales company. And she goes, oh my God, I need you on my team. She's like, I'm willing to hire you tomorrow. Here's my card. Come on in. No doubt. I took her up on it. I was going to. And then once I met with her again, she's like, oh, you don't have a degree? There's a minimum requirement. Right. It doesn't matter if it's in agriculture. Anything you want, just as long as you had that 4-year degree. And I was making, I think her people on her team were making 140 to 160 at the time, and I was 19, 18.
Right.
It's like, oh, that would have been fantastic. Yeah. But
well, and you step back and think about that, right? And I'm sure somebody somewhere can explain to me this, but what would a degree have done for you that your real life experience didn't, right? Other than teach you how to sit down and potentially problem solve, but yet you could say, hey, I learned to problem solve out here in the real world. Teach you how to read and craft a sentence. Well, I did that in high school, hopefully. Anyways, it's one of those things that just, it drives me crazy, and I truly believe our educational system, to an extent primary, but definitely secondary, when you get to junior and to 4-year college, has become more about making money than the education.
I think you're right.
So, anyways, I digress. We went off on a tangent there. So, you've got 4 kids. They all still live at home?
3 of them do. One of them lives in North Carolina, and the 21-year-old is looking to move to Florida here in February.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow. So then you can go visit.
Exactly. It's like, sure, get a place right on the beach for me.
Make sure you get an extra bedroom.
Exactly.
With a nice bed. I'll buy the bed. That's awesome. Been married for 2 years, 4 kids together. After you got through high school, you said you moved to San Diego for a while.
Yeah.
What did you do in San Diego?
Well, take a step back right before that.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, right? Like we all do at 18, 19, somewhere around that age. And I was actually getting ready to sell everything I owned and move to Australia to be a stunt double.
That's awesome.
Yeah, big thrill seeker.
I used
give me
to
a
think
cliff,
I wanted
I'll jump
to do
off it. You give me a plane, I'll jump out of it. And you give me a car, I'll do 200 miles an hour if I go that fast. But now my body is thanking me that I didn't go that route. But I got a job selling vacuum cleaners, believe it or not. It was a very, the ad did not say vacuum salesman.
Yeah.
Of course, it lured you in with all kinds of weird
Were
stuff.
they rainbow vacuums?
A TriStar.
Oh,
it's actually
TriStar, okay.
Rainbow and Kirby's biggest competitor.
Oh, okay.
So the guy showed it to me, and I laughed at him and walked out for a minute. And he came out, talked to me. We ended up going back in, sitting through it, and I got the job there. And in that first month, the very first day I walked in, I sat in this one big comfy chair they had in their meeting room. Mm-hmm. All the rest of them were just basic chairs. And the oldest guy in the bunch comes up and stands over me. He's like, "You comfy?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a pretty nice chair. I like it." He's like, yeah, me too. That's my chair. Get out. That's for the top salesman of the month. I'm like, fantastic. Well, the very next month I was top salesman and I took the chair.
Like, it's my chair now.
And then I pocketed a ton of money. I didn't
Nice.
realize how much money you could make selling vacuums if you do a decent job of it. So I got the money in my pocket, and then I started to get excited from there. So I kept working it and kind of put the selling everything on hold for a minute. And then 2-3 months into it, the manager comes up. He's like, hey, I'm going to San Diego and opening an office. You want to go with?
Nice.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
So me, him, and I think 3 other guys moved out to San Diego and went out there sight unseen in July. And we moved into Escondido.
Oh, wow.
Nice, decent house.
Yeah.
But I get there and I get out and it's 107. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You just moved me to the Chandler of California. I didn't even know that was a thing. And it was brutal. But at night it cooled down to the 70s, so it's much better than here.
Yeah. I always say that about here. If it cooled down into the 70s every night in the middle of the summer, it'd be perfect here.
Oh, yeah. It'd be
I
great.
could deal with it.
Deal with 110, 115.
When
problems.
it stays above 100 all night, you're like, oh, just come on,
Yeah.
go away. So, San Diego, selling vacuums door to door?
We did both.
Okay.
So I've done the door-to-door thing. We've also taken van crews where we go to other cities, other states, and like stay in hotels for a month at a time. And then we also had a phone room that would book appointments for us.
No kidding.
But it was very...
So you've literally walked and knocked door to door.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I have so much admiration for you right now. I'm telling you, I could never do that. And those guys piss me off.
And then
every
sold
time
a
they show up.
$2,500 vacuum cleaner.
Yeah. It's like, dude, just go away, please. And then you feel bad for them. And you're like, okay, I'm going to listen to your spiel. And then you're like, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. But I will tell you, dude, if you can do that, you can do anything.
This episode of Above and Beyond is brought to you by the amazing sponsors who help bring this show to life. A heartfelt thank you to Above Par Network, elevating connections and creating impact. Foundation Insurance Services, protecting what matters most with confidence and care. Meritum Credit Card Processing, empowering businesses through expert consulting and unwavering support. And Rocks Ink Calligraphy, bringing beauty and personal flair to every handwritten detail. We're proud to partner with these outstanding businesses who share our passion for excellence. For more about our sponsors and exclusive podcast content, visit abovebeyondpodcast.com.
Oh, yeah. When it comes to the sales part of things, nothing scares you these days. You've already had guns pulled on you in the ghetto areas and that kind of stuff. Because the problem was when we book appointments, it's with one person. They both need to be there, but typically the wife or the husband forgets to tell the other.
Yeah.
And I've knocked on the door at night and got a gun in my face and all kinds of crazy stories for that side of things. But then they sit down and after I got to spend it was about 2.5 hour presentation and ask them for a check for $2,500.
Did you just dump shit on the carpet and vacuum it up? And no,
We don't do the Kirby route.
yeah, it's like I'm gonna dump this on your carpet. Oh, you don't want it? Well, now you got a stain on your carpet.
We actually had a massive jug about I'd say a juice container that was full of silica sand. And I would just suck the entire thing up. It was like 5 pounds.
Wow.
Into the machine just to show that it did instead of pouring it on the carpet and doing that.
Yeah.
Our carpet test, we just use your machine for like 100 passes and then one with ours and show you the difference. And
Yeah.
that sold it
That
for
sold
us.
them pretty quick.
Yeah.
How long did you do that?
10 years.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I
10 years.
sold them for about 5 or 6, and then I ran all of Arizona between the phone room and the salespeople outside in the field.
You must have been
That
making
was-
a lot of money.
It was decent.
Keep you there for 10 years.
Yeah. It was that and not knowing where to go or what I wanted to do was probably the main thing that kept me there. And it was
Gotcha.
good money and it was fun.
Yeah.
You walk out one week with $6,000 in your pocket when you had a really, really good week. It's like, holy crap! How am I going to compare to that?
Yeah.
Didn't happen all the time, but
Yeah.
it's nice when it did.
That's awesome. Dang. Okay, so 10 years not in San Diego. You were back in Arizona.
Yeah, I was there for somewhere between 2 and 3 years, and
Okay.
then I came back here.
And you've got a daughter who's 21. You've been married 2 years. So I'm guessing there was somebody else in there somewhere along the way?
Yeah, so
or
when
did
I
you just
got
pick her up in the curb somewhere?
No, when I came back from San Diego, actually, the Christmas before I moved back, I came down for Christmas, met with a bunch of friends and stuff. They introduced me to some new people. I ended up meeting my ex-wife, and we talked for like a week or so when I was here, and then I moved back, and a week later she calls me and was like, hey, I was going to go with a lot of our friends went to Europe, or I should say, I think 4 of them. And she's like, I was going to take all this money and go there, but I think I'm going to come hang out with you instead. Can I come over? I'm like, sure. So it was like an indefinite, there wasn't a time frame.
Oh,
but
wow,
so
okay.
2 months later.
So she kind of moved in on her.
For about 2 months, yeah.
Nice, okay.
And then once her money ran out, she came back, and about, I would say less than 6 months later, the company I was working for, the guy made some really bad decisions, and that went under. And then I lived homeless for a while out there, lived in the back of a U-Haul truck for a while, lived in a car for a while, and then lived on the floor of a single-wide trailer with a ton of cats and like 7 people.
Really?
I did that for about a week. I couldn't take it. I went and lived in the car after that. But yeah, it was hard to find a transition between jobs and a place to stay. So I just used the money as wisely as I could, until I found a place, and it was a little while.
So the homeless piece wasn't necessarily because you were like out of money and down and desolate.
I wasn't $0.
It was more, hey, I could do this couch surfing, so to speak, save some money, not have to commit to a location type of thing.
Well, the problem I had is if I was living in a hotel, I probably had a month's, maybe 2 months max worth of money before I was broke and then on the street regardless. Yeah. So I chose to go the save the money route so I could have that down payment once I found a room to rent at somebody's place. And then I met my buddy Hugo out there, and he had a nice big house with just him, and so we did the shared residence thing, and it was fantastic after that.
What'd you do after selling vacuums? Or was that still, you were selling vacuums at that point?
I was still selling vacuums.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I came back to Arizona, and then started dating Tammy, my ex-wife.
Okay.
And then we went through that. She got pregnant within just a few months, I would say. So we stayed together for about 5 years.
Okay.
And then...
decided it just wasn't working?
And then we got married.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And then she got knocked up with the second kid. And
damn her! No, I'm just kidding.
Shortly after that, it didn't work out so hot, and we ended up separating.
That's too bad. So you got 2 kids with her. Your wife now has 2 kids.
Correct.
You don't have any together, but they're blended 4.
Yeah.
Okay. After you sold vacuums for 10 years, I still can't believe you did that for 10 years. Dude, that's crazy. What'd you do after that?
Sold cars.
Really?
Yeah, Thoroughbred Chevrolet, just before they closed down right off of Warner and Arizona Avenue.
Yeah, I know exactly where that is.
I was ASM over there, assistant sales manager for a while, and God, I want to say I was there for a year or 2. But selling cars was interesting. Yeah. You sell a $50,000 vehicle and you make less than you do on a $2,000 vacuum.
Isn't that crazy?
That was It took me a while to wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
Car sales is all about the numbers. You got to sell a ton of units to get your big bonuses, and that's where you're going to make a lot of money, unless you're in the used car side and you make a lot on trade-ins and that kind of stuff.
Through those 2 experiences, through staying 10 years in vacuum, there have been somebody in there that influenced you or kind of showed you the possibilities of being successful in that role.
Yeah.
Were there people that kind of helped you, let's say, tame down your
wild
side to kind of hone you in to go, okay, focus? Or was that on you?
So it was on me initially, but once I got into that realm of things, I've never done anything that extroverted before. Doing presentations in front of people, trying to warm somebody over who looks like they want to kill you for the first 20 minutes that you're there.
Yeah, I hate you that my wife said yes.
Exactly. Everybody hates the door-to-door salesman. And a lot of times it was the wife that hated me worse than the husband, because the husband's the one that said
the husband's like, I'll get in front of my wife. She can say no.
Exactly. The problem was the phone room would call people and say, hey, we're going to give you a free 3-day, 2-night hotel stay for taking a look at this product and giving your opinion. So that's how we got in the door.
Geez.
So I had to overcome everything else and turn that from a short opinion to a 2.5-hour presentation.
Oh, my gosh.
And I got a little sidetracked. What was the question I was going for?
People that influenced you in that time frame that...
Yeah, Rick Vanderstelt was actually the gentleman that moved out there and started that company. He was huge in my sales training aspect, got me to read the sales books, got me to do those things that other people didn't want to go above and beyond to do in order to get your mind in the right spot. Mm-hmm. That's all sales is. Some people are extravagant and do all this stuff and try to bullshit people or lie to people. I was never in that realm. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna show a killer product.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be enjoyable person to be around and let you make your decision. I'm not going to sell you something. I'm just going to let you buy something and call it a day. And it went from there. And he was probably the one that stood out the most in that realm. I'm a little disappointed that I'd never really had a mentor to look after my whole for my whole life, basically. I really don't have that guy that I'm really close to that's super successful that I can ask questions and bounce ideas off of. It's all throw something at the wall and see if it sticks.
No, I get that. I kind of feel like sometimes I'm in the same. I've had people in my life that have been influential.
Yes.
But as my career has developed and I've now become a business owner and the things that I do, and I don't know that I don't know what it is, but I don't feel like there's anybody there. Like, I don't see other insurance agents as competition, but I also I feel like people hold things very closely to their chest, right? And I'm like, dude, there's 6 million people in Arizona and plenty of people across the country we can do business with. I don't need to compete with you.
I do the exact same thing in my business. Like, I'm not looking at anybody as a competitor. In fact, there's a lot of people in my industry that don't do some of what I do and vice versa, so we can trade work back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It's interesting because I don't know if in my insurance career, the 30 years or whatever, I don't know that I could say this person like influenced me. This person had, whatever it was. Early on, it was always about what's the next promotion I can get. Where can I make more money? How can I do that? How can I get to that point?
Exactly.
So, at what point? So, what happened after? How long did you sell cars?
A little over 2 years.
Okay. And then from there, what happened?
Actually, it might have been a little longer than that. There was a stint where I worked at Toshiba selling office equipment too, but it was somewhere in between there.
Okay. Is
So
Toshiba similar to like an IBM salesperson?
No, it's like office equipment as far as copiers, printers, fax machines, that kind of stuff, the big ones. But yeah, no, I had a buddy of mine who called me up and asked me to help him out, get straightened out, back on track with things. And I had just broken up with a long-distance relationship, not the marriage. And he moved in with me and my kids. And after the divorce, I had the 2 kids full-time, and my ex-in-laws would watch them on the weekends. So one of my best friends growing up moved in with me, and after living with me for a little while, he got his stuff together, and I'm like, all right, buddy, it's time to get a job. You keep telling me about this restoration industry that you're in for 15 years. What's that all about? And he's like, oh, there's a lot of money in it, this, and the other thing. And I'm like, well, I'll tell you what. You either walk down to Circle K and get a job there, and you can walk back and forth, or create a business plan and show me what we're talking about. I was working about 80 hours a week at the car lot at the time. It was 7 days a week. It was crazy. And
making less than selling a vacuum.
So he did that. And it was an interesting business plan. It was missing a lot of stuff. But it was enough for me to pull the trigger and move forward. So I sold my car. I had an extra Mustang at the time. Might have been why. My ex-wife is my ex-wife, but she got in a wreck on it after I customized everything. And so the side was dented in, so I didn't get a ton for it. But I got $5,000 when I sold it, and I was able to start the company.
Starter money.
And ultimately what it was, he was going to run the field, and I was going to run the office, because I was still working the car lot at the time. And I would just run the books kind of thing on any downtime that I had. So that went on for about 6 months. We landed an account. We were doing pretty decent, and then we didn't work out, so we parted ways.
Gotcha.
And I had to learn as much as I could, as fast as I could.
Yeah.
And I dove in and learned everything possible about asbestos, because at the time when we started, we only did asbestos abatements.
Oh, wow,
and
no kidding.
Mitigations.
God, talk about starting on the hard side of it.
Yeah.
You could have just done dry down. Oh, yeah, I'm going to bring in a fan and a dehumidifier. There you go. We're going to collect money.
Exactly. His professionalism was, or his experience was in the asbestos side, so that's where we started out.
No kidding.
And it was interesting. But yeah, no, my first job that I was on, I think I worked 22 hours straight, slept in the truck for an hour, worked 24 hours, slept in the truck for 2 hours, and worked 23 hours to complete the job before our deadline, because we ended up parting ways. And it took me a minute to figure out what I was doing.
Yeah, no
Certified in and everything, but I hadn't actually worked on a ton of jobs. So thankfully, it was a completely vacant place. Everything was good, and I was trained properly and had the right equipment. I was one-man show.
Yeah.
The last day I brought a buddy of mine in, and he helped me finish that project out, and then he stuck with me for a few years.
Nice.
It was just me, him, working out of my garage for the first 5 years.
Wow. And was that ATH, or was that okay? So that's where it started.
It started with Arizona Total Home, and when we started the name of the company, we were pondering names, and I don't remember if it was him or me, but somebody had that old mindset of, hey, our name needs to start with an A, so we're at the top of the yellow pages.
It's so funny because, you can tell how old an insurance agency is, or how much they go after non-standard type risks when their name is like, you got, well, I won't name any. There's one specific out there. It's like they like A.
Yep.
It's like
you open a phone book and still
like,
today, and you'll see a bunch of those in the beginning.
The old. I used to, when I was a territory manager for years, I would go into the phone books, pull out all of the insurance, and it's like A. Yeah. That's funny. So, you departed your business partner. You parted ways. Was that a buyout or fire, just a mutual agreement to say, hey, you should probably take off?
We didn't have anything on paper.
Okay.
As far as ownership goes, I owned it 100%. But he helped bring that one client on, even though he lost it right before he left. So I did no formal or anything like that, but we did do it.
Just pretty much said, hey, you should probably go. And here's some money.
Well, it was parted ways kind of mutually, but there was some money exchange for his time.
Gotcha. And ATH has been around for 15 years?
Since 2014. So almost
11 years.
Yep, 12 years in February.
I was like, I had to count. It takes me a while. I had to do the math. And you guys do just do residential, do commercial as well?
We do commercial as well.
Okay.
We've done anywhere from a small, tiny little wet corner in a bathroom up to a 50,000 square foot warehouse or multiple floor units, assisted living facilities, schools, that kind of stuff.
Okay. And you do, I'm going to say A to Z on the restoration side, or you just do the dry down, tear out part of it? Do you do the rebuild? Where are you at on there?
So when we started doing just asbestos and mold, after, I want to say 5 years, we added, maybe about 4 years, we added water. And then after 5 to 6 year mark, we added repairs as well.
Okay.
I got so we used to just do that demo cleanup portion of it and then hand off to another GC. Problem with doing that is I would then get calls back and complaints. No matter how much I vetted these GCs, I would call back, get complaints, and they're trying to blame me, and then I would get a bad review, and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't have anything to do with that. I just recommended a company.
Yeah.
You chose to go with them, and I would always stand behind the client, help them out, help them navigate, and get everything taken care of.
Yeah.
But after a couple of years of that, I was exhausted. Like, I'm spending so much time just trying to find good GCs. I'm like, screw it, bringing it in-house so that way I can have quality control.
Gotcha.
And that was the big reason why we brought it in-house.
How big is your team now?
There's 12 of us.
Okay, wow. So you're a pretty decent-sized restoration company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got others that we bring in to help out when we need more hands on deck. If I need 20, 30 people, I can get them really fast to help us and get it done.
Gotcha.
And they're all trained and know what they're doing in that side of things.
What would you say is like the number one job you guys get called on? Is it water damage? Is it fire?
It's split a lot, actually. Fire is probably the least.
Okay.
There's a lot of companies out there that are ambulance chasers, you can say, and we don't play that game. I'm not going to go to somebody and approach them on their worst day while they're standing outside their home,
they're standing watching it burn.
Exactly.
Hey, here's my card.
It's insane. Like, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to show up with a basket full of all kinds of goodies in a hotel room. I'm like, here, call me when you're ready and we'll talk. But we've never done that. So we get all our fire jobs naturally, whether it's from insurance agents or whether the customers find us online. But I'd say our most popular ones is mold and water.
Okay.
We get a lot of those right now.
Do we have black mold in Arizona?
So when people say black mold, they're referring to a mold called Stachybotrys.
Okay.
There's probably hundreds of different types of black molds, but that's the one that they're referring to that's the most dangerous.
Okay.
There's a lot of other dangerous molds as well. But yes, the short answer is yes. A lot of people come out here and are like, oh, it's a dry climate. We don't got to worry about mold. Well, it's not going to grow on your wall from humidity unless you're taking steaming hot showers in your bathroom and you're not using your exhaust fan or opening a window. Then, you'll get little round mold spots on your ceiling and the walls. But in Arizona, the problem that we run across is people overflow their toilets or they spill water or they do something and they just wipe it up real quick, not realizing that it went into the walls or underneath the vanity or underneath the kitchen sink. Mm-hmm. And they don't think mold's going to grow.
Yeah.
But we get calls. We're on mold jobs probably every single day.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that big of a deal here. And I've been in insurance for 30 years. But, what's interesting is we don't really get calls. I mean, I get notified after the fact, like the client, or sometimes the client will say, hey, I need to report this claim. It's like, okay, yep, there's what you do. Do you know who you're working? Oh, yeah, we already got a guy on scene. Okay. But anyway, so was there a point in this move from vacuum cleaner salesman for 10 years? I'm going to keep going back to that. Dude, you're like my hero. 10 years vacuum sales, a couple years of car sales, getting into restoration. Was there a point at which you went, I made it? Or have you got there yet? Or are you still kind of waiting for it?
No. The day I get to sit back at my house and maybe look at my computer once a week, then I'll say I made it.
Yeah.
Until the office is running on its own kind of thing. But until then, it's always grinding, always trying to get better. So they're getting some negative stuff here, but there's some pretty bad, I'm trying to think of how to put this lightly, companies out there that give us a bad name.
Yeah.
There are a lot of companies in the state that give us a bad name. So my main focus right now is trying to bring integrity back to the restoration industry and try to do things the right way, take care of people the right way, bill insurance companies the right way, and get that taken care of.
I think it's crazy because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I see on my side when I do have to deal with these types of things is, somebody taking a humidity meter or whatever you call them and saying, look, there's humidity in your wall. We're going to have to put, fans, dehumidifiers. We're going to cut the wall up 2 feet, and rip this whole thing out. And then we've got to let these fans sit here for 10 days. And the dehumidifiers are still pulling water. It's like, okay, there's naturally
moisture in the
air. It's always going to pull that.
Yep.
And I feel like similar to like a car repair place, and not to bash on car repair places, but we just don't know, right? As general consumers, you just have no idea. And unless you're in that industry or you have some type of experience with that, you just don't know. So it is a very easy market, I guess, if you will, to take advantage of.
Yeah.
If you go and you buy the floor fans that are, let's say, $150 a piece, which are probably not even that much. Costco has them on sale every now and then for $40. But, $150 a piece, throw it down, I'm going to charge you $100 a day, or charge the insurance company $100 a day for 5 fans to sit here and blow, and a dehumidifier, we're going to charge you $250 a day, and I got 5 fans at $500 and $250 to $750 a day, and I'm going to do it for 10 days at $7,500. And I haven't done anything, right? I feel like if I was in your shoes, that's the battle that I feel like you're up against, where you've got integrity, where you're like, yeah, there are going to be those jobs, right? Obviously. I mean, I had a school that they had a handyman, janitorial, whatever. He was changing out a faucet on one of the little bathroom sinks, little closet bathroom in the school. He started to do something stripped out, didn't have the right part, had to run to Home Depot. So he had shut the water off to the building when he was changing this part out. So it was probably, a quarter valve or something. By the time he got to Home Depot and back, which was probably 20 minutes, somebody had turned the water back on, which then flooded, right, the whole school. They got a restoration company out there and got fans on it right away. They didn't have to do any of the cutout, on any of the drywall or anything like that. Place. But yeah, I mean, you could get somebody who's like, yeah, no, we need to cut it right away. We need to cut this off because it's going to get up in there.
So,
sorry to go off on you.
No, yes, and yes for most of what you said. One of the areas where, to go right off of what you said, is you have a water cert that you can get, and then you have an applied structural drying cert that you can get.
Okay.
A water cert teaches you how to drop equipment, read your humidity levels, dry things, that kind of stuff. ASD cert teaches you how to dry everything in place, if it's possible.
Okay.
So we try to focus, especially on our commercial jobs, businesses, schools, that kind of thing. We try to do multifamily and everything else as well to dry in place if we can. There are certain requirements that you can't do that and certain that you can. If it's what you're explaining, you get a clean water loss coming right out of a angle stop. Somebody just turned the water on, flooded the place. Yeah, suck it all up. Remove your baseboards so you can expose the seal plates if they're wood. And then you set your drying equipment, call it a day. In that case, drying time can take a little longer. With walls and stuff open, your drying time shouldn't exceed 3 days. If you're dealing with a subfloor or some extra circumstances, extra thick wood or tile on top of something, then yes, it can take longer. Or if you're drying in place, then you're talking 5 to 7 days. It's funny you mentioned the 10-day dry time because I've seen that a bunch and I've never done it once. In 12 years almost, I've never once had a 10-day dry out.
Yeah.
There are some specialty stuff that I know that can take that long. I've seen it done. I've helped other people do it, but again, it's specialty scenarios. Like if you're trying to dry a wood floor in place, that kind of thing. I've heard those. I've actually seen one that took a month and a half to dry.
Trying to get so it doesn't warp out or whatever.
So once it starts to cup, it will lay back down flat again a lot of times. Still has to be sanded and refinished, but some of those floors are really, really pricey, especially when you talk gymnasiums. Like they're millions of dollars for those things. So if you can dry those in place, it's fantastic. Then you're hooking up desiccants and that kind of thing. But the so a lot of companies will come in, and when they use the meter you're talking about, it's called a moisture meter. It doesn't necessarily just read humidity levels. It sends a current between the two probes and lets you know how much moisture is in the wall.
Gotcha.
So a lot of times people with small little toilet overflows wipe it up, moisture gets in the wall, they think nothing of it. That's where we end up with the mold. So when you get these jobs where they come out and they say there's moisture set equipment for 10 days, that is extreme. However, what we go by, you don't just look at the humidity levels in the DHU dumping water because you're right, there's humidity in the air all the time. You're always going to have that. We take our humidity levels outside and inside, and with the exhaust of the DHU, we make sure the science is there and everything is working properly. Sometimes you have to burp a house. You have to open up windows in order to create a better drying chamber for the materials that are in there. So there are certain things you can do that will go above and beyond, no pun intended. To make
I love that.
to make it done faster.
Yeah.
But then what you really run across with the shadiness that goes on is they'll take that moisture meter and they'll finagle it. So there's a lot of moisture meters have two different ways it reads. One is a non-evasive. On the backside, you just touch. And if it reads moisture up to 3/4 of an inch deep, like your hand, it's going to go off and tell you you're wet. And then there's pin probes you stick in the wall. So I have witnessed, so I've gone into jobs where there's multiple companies there at the same time. I've witnessed people put their finger on the bottom, stab the prongs in the wall, and they're reading their finger moisture, not the moisture in the wall. The only reason why somebody would do this is if, one, they're extremely greedy, but two, a lot of companies pay outrageous amounts of money for referrals to people like plumbers, for instance.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of other avenues as well, but they'll pay them $1,000 to $2,000 just for any job that's signed. Doesn't matter how big it is. They have a deal in place to where I get $2,000 the second you get a signed contract. Done.
Wow.
Awesome. They go in. They got one little tiny wet corner where a water heater is. It might cost, I don't know, $2,000 to do the whole thing, including repairs and all of it. Well, now you're losing money, right? Because you have your guys out there. So what I've seen them do is finagle their meter and turn one wet corner into 3 wet rooms. They'll go behind the water heater into the next room. It's like, oh, the water ran all the way down this wall. Oh, it ran into this room. Oh, it ran into this room.
Replace all this stuff.
Exactly. Now they're just building up the dollar amount on the claim so they can afford that referral.
Wow.
I've also seen it to where they they're told by their boss. I've interviewed people that have come in, and I ask them, I'm like, hey, have you ever worked with a plumber chasing company? That's what I like to call them. Or have you ever been forced to sell a dry job is one of my interview questions. And debating on how they respond is whether or not I'm even going to entertain and hire them. But time and time again, I've heard people say, oh, yeah, I called my boss and I said, hey, man, I know the plumber called us out on this, but everything's dry. I can't pick up moisture anywhere. And he straight told me if I don't sell that job just to turn in the keys when I get back, I'm fired. And that's where I say when I tried to bring integrity back is we don't do any of that stuff. I mean, that is as shady as it comes. There are a lot of other companies out there that bill through a lawyer who takes... There's a couple different software companies out there that insurance company use to make sure everybody's on the same page with pricing. Well, they'll jack it up 40%, send it to the insurance company, and their workout those states that the customer is responsible for paying the bill, not the insurance company. So if insurance refuses to pay their outrageous bill, they'll turn around and send it to the customer for the difference. And if they don't pay, they'll sue them a lot of times.
Wow.
So that's what I'm talking about when they're talking shady workmanship out there in our industry.
I'm speechless. I mean, I'm really, truly, I mean, it's because I know, I used to be, so I started my career in insurance as an auto adjuster. And then I moved into property. So I've done some property stuff and I've dealt a little bit with what you're talking about. But on the auto side, there's plenty of times where it's like, okay, look, I can't get you, like the shop saying, look, we need this many hours to work this panel.
Yeah.
And you're like, I just can't do it. I can't fit it in there without getting it to a replace. We're going to R&R. We're going to remove and replace it. But you've got another job in here that's mine, and we'll, under the carpet move an hour over here, type of thing. Because
Gotcha.
I can squish it in over here.
Yeah.
And I hate to admit that, but that happens. So you get it. I mean, it's just you have to see that stuff. But to be able to say, yeah, there's guys out there that are literally taking advantage of, whether it's an insurance company and they may know, okay, we know these insurance companies only use third-party adjusters, or they go off of, what we're doing, and we can start fudging that a little bit, and that line gets a little grayer and grayer, whatever that is. Anyways, it just blows my mind. With regards to restoration, with regards to where you're at right now, Arizona Total Home Restoration, or Arizona Total Home Restoration?
Yep.
Did I say that right?
You did.
Okay. What is kind of your ultimate goal? Where do you want to be with the company? What are you hoping that the company becomes?
I've gone a lot of different ways with this on what I want to do, but ultimately I want it to be Arizona's #1 trusted restoration company would be ideal. The people talk revenue numbers, certain revenue numbers. Yeah, there's stuff I'd like to hit, but that's not the goal. The goal is being one of the top trusted companies in the state. And I've toyed in the idea of opening up other locations. Haven't decided if I want to try franchise or to become a franchise, or if I just want to open up other locations and have other people oversee them. And I've toyed around the idea of a few other states. So there's room in this state for 2 more offices if we decide to do one up north and in the Tucson area. Okay. And then we've looked at Colorado, Texas, and Nevada as well.
Nice. Okay.
So haven't made any final decisions there yet.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a lofty goal.
Yeah.
Have to get the right people in place, right? Obviously.
That's the hard part.
Right boots in the right butts in the right seats, right boots in the right. I don't know what that would be.
I don't know the boots one you're talking about.
I don't know.
But butts in the right seats.
I don't know where that is, but anyway, how do you define success? What does that look like for you?
Ooh, that is a good question. Success for me would probably be able to success can be measured in so many different ways, right? You get a monetary value, you can do emotional value, you can do all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, as long as we get me and my wife in a very happy spot to we're good, we can take care of our employees, help them grow, help them get into those upper management positions to where they're running things. And that's another reason why I wanted to open up other offices, so we can start advancing people that have been with us for a while and do that kind of thing. So success for me is being able to see everybody that's with me thriving in life. We're happy. We can go travel when we want to. We can do what we want when we want. One of my end goals is to be able to, by the time I'm 50, is to be able to live anywhere in the world I want to, oversee multiple businesses from afar, and then fly in every quarter and kind of just make sure they're running good, make sure the right people are still in place, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then they can thrive, and then they can grow their companies as their own.
Nice. Does your wife work with you?
Yes.
Okay.
I poached her from her old job when we had a long-distance relationship.
Okay.
I actually met her the same week that I met my ex-wife. They knew each other. In fact, we were all friends for a very long time. It wasn't until I was divorced for a few years, she was divorced for a few years, that we found each other online and started a long-term dating thing. She lived in Texas, and I flew out there, and I was like, all right, well, we're going to check to see if this works or if there's even anything here. So we hung out for a week. Our buddies lived in San Antonio, so we stayed with them for a week. And one of the things while we were there was like, all right, let's make sure if this is going to work, we're going to do our best, because the long-distance thing isn't always fun from what I hear.
Yeah.
So we sat for hours, and we're like, all right, well, I'm going to tell you everything every person I have ever dated in my entire life had against me and didn't like. And if you can handle that, we might be all right.
Nice.
So we went back and forth for hours with that. And she's like, that's it? And I'm like, yeah. And I said the same thing about her. We're like, all right, we can try this thing. 6 months later, she made the move down. And when she moved here, she was working at a chiropractor office for about 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And they said he didn't want to lose her. She knew how to run the whole company, basically. He didn't know a lot of the back-end stuff. So he let her be their office manager remote from here, which was interesting, but she found a way to make it work with all the employees and everything over there. And then he sold out 2 years later, and then she didn't want to come work for me because she didn't want to work together.
Yeah.
But I sold her on the idea, and we shared an office for the first I would say at least a year. That didn't work out so hot. So as soon as one of the other employees left in office, she's picked up her stuff and moved in instantly. She's like, oh, I'm going over here. I'm like, all right.
We need a little separation time.
That works out well. Because, yeah, all day at work, all day at home. She would like to say it's a bit much.
Yeah.
But no, it worked out really well.
That's cool.
We worked together very good.
That's awesome.
Having separate offices is nice. The main issue was I like loud music. She doesn't. So
gotcha.
I like to blare my music when I'm focused on the computer work.
She needs quiet.
Yep.
What would you say is probably the one misconception that people have about success, about where you are with your business, about, what happens on a daily?
I would say the biggest misconception people have is the same thing my original partner had initially, was think they're going to make a bunch of money instantly and not have to work. I've never worked harder in my life.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I've always worked 70, 80 hours a week ever since I was a teenager, like 17 on up. Most of the jobs that I've had in my life were like vacuum sales. That was a 6-day-a-week job that worked about 10 to 12 hours a day. But the issue here is you have to constantly grind.
Yeah.
As soon as you take a step back and try to relax, things change in the industry. Things change with your clients. You start to lose clients. You need to gain new ones. So it's a constant grind. You just always got to work at it. It's not going to be as hard. The first 5 years were 10 times harder. I was on every single job that we ever had. I did all the billing, all the collecting, all the marketing, everything, because I didn't have any other employees except for a helper on the job. So now with 12 employees, I'm doing different kind of stuff. I'm doing more, still working for the company, but a little more on it and a little less for it. I get to go out and do a lot of networking. I get to hang out with you, go golfing in Myrtle Beach for business trips, that kind of stuff. APN has been fantastic to help me find another way to still work, but enjoy myself and have a little fun at the same time. Working with it.
Has there been a time in the 11, 12 years in the existence of ATH where you were just ready to pack it in, where you're like, I just don't know that I can do this another day. I'm done. I'm going to go back to selling vacuum cleaners.
Not that, but yes, there have been times like that. And some of my biggest challenges up front were all my eggs in one basket. When my old partner landed that one client, it was somebody that he knew for a while. And then that was all of our work. Like, we couldn't handle anything more because they were keeping us as busy as we could be. So when we lost that client, I was like, oh, shit. Now what?
Yeah.
So that's the first time in this company I put my selling shoes on and went out and just started door knocking businesses. So at that time, we were doing just asbestos and mold, so all my clients were restoration companies. One of the first stores I walked into was a restoration company in Tempe, and me and him hit it off really well and got the job. Well, that gave me about 85% of my workload. So I had the same problem.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get more because I didn't have more people. I was still garage-based, and I have an issue hiring employees out of a house. I don't know, it's just weird to me. So I wanted to brick and mortar before I started getting more people. He approached me about 2 years later and goes, hey, you probably saw this coming, but I'm going to start doing all my asbestos in-house. I'm like, well, you never told me, so no. I didn't see that coming at all. Like, this is a complete shock.
Yeah.
Please give me 30 days to get my stuff in order and go from there. And he's like, yeah, no, sorry, I can't do that. I already got everybody in line. I already got everything set up.
Wow.
We need to start doing our jobs immediately. Wow. I'm like, okay, go ahead and do that. Thankfully, the girls at his front desk really liked me and slid some jobs my way on.
Nice.
I didn't know until later on.
Yeah.
But they told me later on, I'm like, oh, no, we still slid a few your way. I'm like, oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
But that time just happened to hit perfect right as I was a little past our 3-year mark, and internet just took off out of nowhere. Like, I wasn't paying anything. I didn't have paid ads, none of that stuff, and it just naturally took off. And but I was, at the second time that happened, that's when I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Don't know if I can take this anymore because I'm still on all the jobs and trying to sell and do everything else at the same time. So at that time, threw me through a loop, but I had to get my head screwed on straight. Listed some good books that I like, and as far as sales books and that kind of stuff go, and went right back out and started knocking. And this time, I made sure that I diversified into a lot of little baskets instead of one big one.
Gotcha.
And now we have probably 40 different streams coming in.
That was going to be my next question, was if you could go back and tell yourself one thing when you're starting the business versus now what would that one thing be?
Quit being a control freak and hire people to delegate.
There you go. Wasn't what I thought you were going to say, but I like that. I thought you were going to say diversify, but okay.
No, that was actually, I was so worried because we were doing asbestos. I didn't want to trust somebody else to handle a hazardous material in somebody's home with their livelihood on the hook.
Yeah.
So it was really hard for me to trust people for that. But as soon as I got a brick and mortar, what happened was I actually threw my back out and I could barely walk. Like I would have to shuffle for probably 5 minutes from my truck to my office.
Oh, wow.
And crawl up the stairs on my hands and knees kind of thing.
Wow.
That lasted for a minimum of 8 months. It was quite a while. And I didn't have a choice. I couldn't do a job if I wanted to. So, and by the way, just so you're aware, do not carry over 100-pound bags of wet carpet over your shoulder down 3 flights of stairs. It doesn't work out so well. That's what
I don't think I'd be able to do that if I wanted to.
But so where was I going with that? Yeah, I had no choice but to hire people, and I had to train them now on video and pictures and everything else and tell them what to do. So it was harder getting started, but that's what forced me to hire people. And then we grew 100 times as far as revenue goes.
Yeah.
Really, really fast after we started doing that.
I think it's interesting because I think as a small business owner, at least in my world, I guess, bringing on an employee and understanding, okay, capacity-wise, I have no more capacity, right? I can't do another thing. I'm working 16 hours a day. There's not another minute to give.
Yep.
I've got to hire somebody. So you can see, yes, I need somebody. But then when you start thinking, okay, the quality of person that I need or whatever, I've got to pay them X. That's going to take a chunk of money out of my pocket. And you try to rationalize that in your head, right? And it's like you may have just finally gotten to the point where you're in the black and you're feeling like, okay, things are going okay. I can breathe a little bit. There's a little bit of extra money every month. But now I need to hire somebody. So I'm going to take a step backwards, right? and making that first decision, making that first move to hire that first person or whatever it is they are, I think personally is the hardest thing ever. Like and I've never gotten past 2, but I would imagine once you get to the point where you're like, okay, I've done this a couple times. I see where the exponential comes in, right? Where it's like, okay, I'm this and I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
And I bring somebody in. Oh, okay, now we're doing this, right? But now we need somebody else. And then we do this. And you see those building blocks. And I would think getting deeper and deeper, bigger and bigger, you get a little bit more removed from the impact of it, and it actually starts to help.
It does
grow.
But one of the scariest things I had to experience was that in the beginning was, and this happened probably 3 or 4 different times. You get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm here and we're struggling. We're handling just about as much as I can. But when I hire somebody, I'm not going to have enough to keep them busy to cover their salary. But if I don't hire somebody, I'm going to have workload that I can't handle, or I'm going to work those outrageous hours and be sleep deprived and everything else. And that's that juggling thing that I've had to do a lot.
Yeah.
But hiring a GM was probably one of the best decisions. Just did that last year. Helped out a ton. Like I always try to put too much on my shoulders, and the GM helped a lot. And found 3 or 4 employees that were stealing from me.
Oh, wow.
Actually, so yeah, he's been a huge help.
That's awesome. You mentioned success being able to run multiple companies from afar type of thing. If you were to open a company today, if you were to start another company, different industry, knowing what you know now about running a business and operating in that sort of thing, what do you think you would do different about starting up a new business versus when you started ATH?
I would find a way to not do it all myself. To start with, and then do my research ahead of time. When I came into this industry, I had 0 experience in the industry at all. No connections, not one. Never worked construction a day in my life. So it was, once I lost my me and my business partner separated ways, it was a grind to try to earn that trust and get that up. Yeah. So one of the first things I would do is find somebody who can run that business appropriately, who has the contacts and has the background in it. So then I can focus on bringing in more work for it, and I don't have to focus on the day-to-day aspect of it. I think that would probably be one of the biggest things that would help.
And do you think from an industry perspective it would be, we'll call it a sister industry to the restoration, or do you want to do something completely different?
I've contemplated multiple sister companies to the restoration. Plumbing would be fantastic because both companies feed each other, right? And then you don't have to worry about these referral fees or anything else like that. Because right now we don't take, there are some good plumbers out there, by the way, that don't ask for a lot of referral fees because they like their clients, and we work with a few of those. But, I think that would help out a ton.
Mm-hmm. What would you say to somebody wanting to start out in the restoration industry today?
From scratch?
Yeah.
Get your feet wet working for somebody else first. Mm-hmm. Get to the experience, the schooling and the training classes. They teach you what they can, but you can only learn so much in a 40-hour a week during training classes and stuff. And a lot of it's in a classroom setting, not in the field setting.
Gotcha.
And you'll learn 10 times more working a month for somebody else in the field than you ever will in a classroom.
Makes sense. I kind of already asked this, I think, but where do you go from here?
From here, getting this company to run on its own is number one. Mm-hmm. And then from that, I do want about 5 companies in total. So I'll be looking. I'm a little torn. Part of me wants to buy existing companies, help build it up, keep the existing management and staff on, help build them up, let them run it, and then sell it to them or sell it to somebody else. And just keep doing that because that excites me, growth, helping build, and helping other people achieve good things as well. But then the other part of me wants to just have 5 separate businesses going myself that, like you said, like I mentioned earlier, live anywhere in the world and just oversee them from afar and come in and check them out.
Roll in on your yacht into San Diego, jump into your Bugatti.
Wishful thinking on that one.
I had a question I totally just left my head.
Now you're reminding me of me.
Man, I had a good question too. Oh, well. Maybe it'll come back to me. Well, darn it. Now I'm stuck. Oh, well. Okay. Well, yeah. My brain just kind of went, okay.
It's like, no, checked out for the day. Yeah. I'm good.
What? And we could probably wrap. We've been going for a while. I don't know how long we've been going because I forgot.
Someone forgot to set their thing?
Yeah, I forgot to set the timer. But it looks like this is an hour and 9 minutes. So talk to me about what you do. Do you have spare time?
Yes.
And what do you enjoy doing? To clear your head or spend time with the family, or what do you do?
Oh, one of my favorite things is just four-wheeling. I got a built-up Jeep, so we take it out and do some rock crawling and stuff. I love shooting, love hunting, fishing, anything outdoors, really. Have a great time with. Wife and I, just on regular weekends, like I said, we'll take the dogs and walk 3 miles down to Ocotillo and get a little tipsy and walk back. And dogs have fun with that, too, getting out of the house and stuff.
Just hit the canal?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, the canal takes us straight to and
right
from.
there, drop you off.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's funny because we're the other way. So I'm at Elliott and Greenfield, and same thing. I mean, we'd have to walk half a block. I don't know how far it is up to the power line, and then walk the
straight
power
down
line all the way down. Yeah,
you're a little farther than 3 miles, though. I think.
Yeah. We're probably be 4-ish or more. So, what do you want your legacy to be?
That is a tough question. I actually was reading a book, and it was talking about that, and I did not put the time in to figure it out yet. A lot of people say that. What do you want your legacy to be? Do you want your kids to take over for you? That kind of thing. None of my kids have any interest in that. So ultimately, at the end of the day, I think nothing business oriented other than the fact that if somebody can say after I'm gone, oh my God, he was awesome. He helped me out so much, whether it's with someone's credit, which I'll do with employees a lot, have little credit building scenarios.
Nice.
Or just in business alone, help them grow in their life and that kind of stuff.
You've mentioned a few times different books, not necessarily specific books, but you've said sales books or books you've read. Is there a book that you feel like that pops to the front of your mind that's like, it was the word just stuck. Man, my head just stopped working. It profound, like, boom, that book actually spoke to me.
Well, only the first 2 that I've ever read actually pop into my mind right off the bat, so I'm assuming that those must have. Think Yourself Rich by Napoleon Hill and How to Win Friends and Influence People was always a good one as well. That one right there helped me out a ton.
Yeah.
So I like that. There's so many different types of people out there. You need to learn how to talk to and handle them all, because you can't talk to one person the same way you talk to the next person, especially if you have employees. You can, but it's not going to go over the same.
Right.
So you need to figure out what people's hot buttons are and what they react to better. Like take coaching, for instance. Some kids thrive getting screamed at. And that's what's going to make them do it. Other kids need a lot softer approach.
Yeah.
So it's the same way when dealing with people, whether you're dealing with somebody you're trying to sell something to, or you're dealing with somebody that's working for you.
Yeah.
But I've always been a chameleon. I can adapt drastically to all kinds of world scenarios, no matter what it is, whether I'm talking to somebody who's a major redneck, or I talk to somebody who's comes from a really rough side of town.
Yeah.
Because I've lived all those lives and been a part of a lot of different cultures, so it helps out a ton.
I have two questions, and this is totally random. If you were to be played by any actor, alive or dead, in a movie, who would it be?
Ooh, put me on the spot with that one. Let's see.
I mean, it's just a random thought, but...
I'll just throw it to Ryan Reynolds, because the guy cracks me up, and I'm sexier than he is, but hey.
Deadpool. Love Deadpool.
No, it's one of my favorites.
What movie, or we'll say genre, because I like that word. What genre of movie would you say embodies your life?
Jesus. Is there a genre called chaos?
I don't know. Could be. It. Horror. I don't know.
But no, I call myself the chaos coordinator a lot. When you're handling 100 jobs at any given time, and you got some fires that you may or may not need to put out, and handling employees and 3 teenagers at the house and trying to run a business all at the same time, it is 100% chaotic. But
I think that's something that people don't see, right? And we'll go to general public. This is my perception, and I talk about this, my perception thing all the time. But I do feel like the general perception of non-business owners to business owners, I think that's the nicest way I can put it, would be that, you have people that work for you, so you don't do anything, right?
Yep.
And I feel like the bigger the business, the more employees, the more whatever, fill in the blank, the more chaotic, the more struggle, the rougher it is, the harder the decisions become. Even if you have people that are working for you that, in essence, make the decisions for you, it's still heavily impactful. And when you get to a point where you have multiple people relying on your success to not only feed them and pay their bills, but their families and everything else,
it's
such a heavy weight.
It is.
Such a heavy weight.
So I was just talking to a buddy of mine, actually, right before I came here. And he owns a company. He has 40 employees. And we normally speak all the time, hang out a lot, get drinks or whatever for happy hour, go golfing, whatever the case may be, fishing, camping. But we haven't barely spoke in the last 2 months. And we're on the phone, and we both understand and know exactly what it is without even calling and seeing what's going on. So I talked to him on the way here. He's like, oh, man, dude, it's been crazy. He's like, I lost a couple employees, so I had to step up to the plate and do all this and that. As an owner, you're not only doing your job, you're also doing anybody else's job that's either slacking or no longer there, or you're waiting for a replacement, that kind of thing. So there's always something to do. And then the stress level is there because, like you just mentioned, you have, in his case, 40 other people's families counting on you to keep that business running correctly. It's
such a heavy weight that, I mean, it's just huge. It's huge. What gets you up in the morning? What makes you want to get up in the morning?
I was going to say the alarm clock about 4 or 5 times because I am not the best morning person. The kids ultimately make it a go every day, but I live my life every day like I want to, not because I have to. I've always been a workaholic, so I have no problem working. These last few years, I've really put that work-life balance thing into perspective. Because I worked so long and now my kids are older, it's like I want to spend more time with them, be there, be available, and help them through their adult portion of the life as well. But my brain completely lost the train of thought that was going on there. Get me up in the morning.
Screech.
Yeah.
I heard the bus.
They keep me running, and just knowing to myself to succeed, right? A lot of people want I like recognition. Who doesn't? But it's more for my own goals. Yeah. Setting that kind of thing. I hate setting goals and not reaching them.
That's why I don't set them.
That's one way to do it.
That's funny. I crack myself up. So, what else do we need to know about Nathan Thue?
Hey, you got it right?
Got it right. What else do we need to know about Nathan? What else do we need to know about ATH? That I haven't asked you? All the random questions that I've asked.
Well, ultimately with ATH, everybody in the company has been trained the same way to go that extra mile. Even
you can say go above and beyond.
I was going to.
Okay.
Actually, I stopped myself. To go above and beyond and do that extra mile, even when nobody's looking. Right. That's where you build the integrity into something. Integrity isn't doing the right thing because somebody's watching you. It's doing the right thing just because it's the right thing to do. So as far as the company goes, we try to get all of our employees on that page. And I've had time and time again, people meet the employee, oh man, your guys are awesome. Like every single one I've met in your company has been fantastic. This kind of thing. It's like, well, we hire on a certain culture. And if you don't fit into that culture, it's not going to work out. So we bring up our core values. We talk about our culture and stuff in interviews, and we talk to all the employees to make sure they're on the same page. If they're going to representing the company and I'm not there to oversee them, I want them to represent it the exact same way that I would represent it myself. There are so many people out there that they're trained in restoration, right? And they know what they're doing. They know the cut and the dry, but they don't think about the reasons why for things, especially when it comes to like getting claims approved.
Gotcha.
One example I can give you is a buddy of mine called me and said that his aunt up in, I believe it was his aunt or cousin, up in Parks, Arizona, had a huge flood. The snowpack caved in the roof and all melted in. It was a metal roof. And they weren't up there for 5 months, so they didn't even know it happened until it was too late. And they hired a company. They went out, and turns out the entire house is filled with mold. They charged them $25,000, and insurance claimed only approved $5,000, and it was done. So some of that didn't sound right to me. So I started talking to them a little bit more, drove out to Parks, visited with her, checked out the whole scenario. And ultimately what the company did was they came in, they ripped down one wall in the kitchen, one wall in the dining room, and one row of cabinets. And then they cut inspection holes throughout the rest of the house, about just a small square. There was mold everywhere. The whole house was filled with it. But those two walls, they didn't even clean the mold out. They just took the drywall out. And cabinets were thrown all over the place out front, not even set up nicely or anything like that. And they charged her $25,000 for that, something that most companies maybe $5,000. Except for they would have cleaned the mold. And we get there, and she's explaining why the claim is denied. She's like, oh, well, I only have $5,000 in mold coverage, so they denied the entire claim. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense, because when I looked at the bill, the company billed $25,000 for mold only. Well, as I'm there, I'm looking at it, I'm talking to her, and I'm like, well, do me a favor. How many birds do you think took a number 2 on your roof in those 5 months before the snow started to melt? She's like, I don't know. Me neither. Like, I have absolutely no idea. How many squirrels do you think got up there? How many other critters do you think got up onto your roof and either died in that snowpack or left droppings behind in the snowpack? Couldn't think of any. I'm like, oh, okay, great. Well, I can't say how much, and I guarantee you an insurance guy can't say how much. So once that melts and comes into your house, it's now Category 3 water. And after sitting for an amount of time, it's also Category 3 water. Well, we build Category 3 the exact same way we build mold. So I talked to her adjuster, and I'm going over it, and I'm explaining this. And ultimately, the claim was well over $200K. It was, we didn't do the repairs, so I don't know the exact dollar amount, but it was probably $200,000 to $300,000.
Wow.
And we got the entire thing approved. Because when I talked to the adjuster, I'm like, look, we're going to run all this as Cat 3 water. It was sudden. It was accidental. The person didn't know that it was happening. It wasn't neglect or anything like that. So let's run it as Cat 3. I will bill you less than $5,000 on cleaning the mold inside the walls, and she'll deal with this other company on the side separately. And we got the whole thing approved. Wow. And it went through great. And the adjuster was fantastic, and we got the job done. And she ended up getting her repairs done by somebody else that lives up in the North Flagstaff area. So,
that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's how you do little twists and spins on things, or explain it correctly to where it makes sense. Adjusters aren't looking, like a lot of people have it in their heads that adjusters looking to deny my claim, save the insurance company money. They're not wanting to pay this out. They have bosses. They get audited. They just need a good way to explain something. So as long as you can provide an explanation on how it makes sense that this needs to be done, they'll say okay, and they will approve it if it's under the guidelines.
I used to tell people that when I was doing auto claims, where we'd have a total loss, and I'd offer somebody, and they get just all pissed off. Oh, I knew you weren't going to pay me. I was like, look, if you disagree with my valuation, prove me wrong.
Yeah, find your own.
Go find. I just need to justify why I'm paying you what I'm paying you. I don't. This is what my valuation says. If you think it's different because whatever. Now, not emotional. Your emotional attachment means nothing to me.
No, you need
But if you got a
value.
1996 Honda Civic that, had some souped up something and blah, 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 just give me reason.
Yep.
Give me reason.
It's funny you say that because I've dealt with 4 totaled vehicles now between personal and business, and every one of them I didn't agree with the evaluations. So I took it upon myself and I did my own evaluations. Well, insurance companies typically use a program, right, that just automatically figures it out. Well, I took their, what do they do, like 3 or 5 vehicles?
Yeah, something
like that in the area. So I take those and I do my own research and I get my own 3 to 5 and I send it to them. And I'm like, hey, here's this. And every single one of them has came up thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, justify.
Yeah. I just need something in my file that I can show I didn't just pull this number out of thin air.
Yeah.
It's like, just because you feel it's worth that doesn't mean it's worth that. Just help me get you there.
Exactly.
Exactly. And it's funny because I even in injury stuff, I've had, when I was doing claims, which I'm so glad I don't do that anymore. I mean, you're just dealing in just pissed off people.
Oh, yeah.
But there's claims where, like, you're standing there trying to figure out where the damage is on the car, and they've been to the chiropractor 18 times and the physical therapy 20 times and some attorney, and, they want thousands of dollars, and you're like, I see no damage. And then I had another guy got run over on a bicycle, broke both of his femurs, and he's like, just pay my medical bills. I'm like, no, dude, I'm writing you a big check. Like, tell me what you want. I mean, we'll make this thing happen. But it's so crazy. It's like, it's a wild world, and people's perception is the insurance companies don't want to pay. And I would argue there are definitely some out there that will look right. But I would say the majority, and I would say vast majority, is just about making sure that you can justify what it is that's going on.
Yeah, if your boss overlooks your shoulder and says, hey, why did you pay this dollar amount for something? You need an answer.
Right, exactly.
So we'll do a lot of notes in our billing system and stuff so we can explain that ahead of time. And the adjuster doesn't have to waste time calling us because it can take 2 weeks to get a hold of each other.
Yeah, back and forth.
With how many claims they have on their files these days. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we always tell my employees, I'm like, look, when you get a call from a client, you have to understand that that's their only problem right now, right? Yeah, we may have a list of people we need to get back to today. Who's hot? Get back to that person right away. If they're not getting a response or whatever. But in claims, it's the same thing. I mean, the people are, especially if you got half your house is burned down, dude, I just want this fixed like right now. Yep. Or your car's sitting in a shop and you're waiting on one little computer chip to get it out and it's been in there for 3 months. Yep. It's like, just get me my car, get it out. So anyways, well, hey, I really appreciate you coming on. I've had a great time getting to know you a little bit better, and I appreciate it. And where can people find you?
They can find us online at aztotalhome.com, or they can call us directly at 480-207-7011. That's 480-207-7011. And if it's after hours, just push number 1 for emergency, and we'll get out there right away.
I'm going to start calling that number and push 1 every time. I'm just kidding.
Whoever's on call will appreciate that, I'm sure.
Hey, everybody who comes on gets a gift.
Oh, sweet. We got here.
Ink, graves all the glasses. So the glass that you had your water in tonight, your colored water, you actually get one of those, and it's actually personalized.
Is that what's in here?
Yep. Personalized with your name and 2025.
Nice little touch. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
So I appreciate you coming on.
This is Nathan Thue, and I went above and beyond.
Stories we share beyond the fairways, friendships grow in APN's embrace, opportunities flow. No happy talk, it's real deals, authentic connections, the kind that heals. From Palm Springs to Pine Top's Grace, APN's network spans every place. Above Par Network, we're going above and beyond, reaching new heights. In networking realms, scaling the heights. From mixers to golf, our spirits unite. APN's the beacon, our guiding light. So here's to APN, where dreams align. In every connection, a chance to shine. Above and beyond, we'll always strive. In APN's network, we truly thrive.
Like, share, and subscribe to Above and Beyond, where excellence meets elevation. Elevate your mindset, one episode at a time.